Good afternoon, guys. I'm Logan with the BACKWOODSMAN'S Institute. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a figure 4 deadfall trap out of materials that you can find in the woods. So stay with me. You're going to learn a lot. Catch you in a bit. Alright, so how a figure 4 deadfall trap is set up. You want to select a stick, something in the woods that's not necessarily all the way green, but not necessarily all the way dead. Somewhere in a happy medium that just got blown over in a storm or something like that. Alright, so I got my stick. I cut it down into 3 lengths so it fits together pretty much like this. Equal lengths. There's something in the woods over there. Equal lengths pretty much all the way around. As you go down the stick, your stick will get thicker. Alright? How a figure 4 deadfall trap is set up is you have a trigger, you have a stake in the ground, and you have a support. Notice the figure 4, excuse me. Notice the figure 4. Alright, that's how this is going to work. This trigger is going to hold the support. You're going to have a weight on the support beam. The thickest piece you have, this is my thickest piece, is going to be the support, because it's going to have all the weight on it. And you're going to have to cut a notch halfway through it. So you want it to be the thickest so it can support the weight of the deadfall. So I'm going to show you how to put all this together, and I'm going to explain myself, and I'm going to show you that right now. Alright, first what I got, this is my stake. It's going to get put into the ground. So on one end, I'm going to make a point, so it's easy to insert into the ground. Okay, here we go. I made a point that I can stick into the ground. Like I didn't mention before, but you want to select very straight sticks, as straight as you can get them. Alright, so like I said, this is the support. It's going to have a trigger right here, this crossway piece. Then we're going to have a support, just like that. That's how it's going to fit together. So, with our stake in the ground, we're going to make a taper on just 2 sides. So we're going to have probably about a 1/4 inch of flat space running the way my finger's going right now. So we're going to taper up the sides, make like a chisel point. And on the top of this stake, we're going to make a chisel point. See how it's only chiseled up on one side? We have probably about a 1/4 inch of flat space up here. So you want to take it down on both sides so you have just about only a 1/4 inch left. Alright, that's good for right now. So this is our stake piece. We're going to have a trigger piece, like I said before, and a support piece. Next thing we're going to do is the support piece. This is how it's going to fit together. So you see here at the top, you're going to make a little mark with your finger, and that's where you're going to make the next notch. And I'll show you how to do the notch here in a little bit. But this needs to fit inside this notch. So you're going to cut straight up, and then just shave a little down so it's going to fit right into here. The trigger piece, this cross piece, needs to have a little extension on the other side of the brace piece, on the end of the brace piece, because there's going to be a notch here that holds this in. Alright, so I'm making a notch to my support piece. Now this, see how we get little curls? We want this to be as straight as possible. So what's good with this Ontario knife, it's a U.S. survival pilot knife. If you don't have, this has a serrated saw back, and it's not like big like a Rambo knife, but it's got a saw so you can make nice fine straight pieces. But if you don't have this, all you have to do is go straight down on your blade and peel back the opposite way. So I'm peeling this way to make this notch. All I gotta do is put my knife straight down and peel back the opposite way, and it's gonna remove all these little shavings. See that? But with this saw blade, all I gotta do is put it straight in there, and I can make a nice clean straight down piece. So that's what's good with this knife. But this is how you make that notch, and it fits like that. So I'm going to take a little bit more out of it because it doesn't fit in there quite right, so I'm making it just a little bit deeper. Alright, so now we got our stake, we got our notch for our brace piece. This is the brace piece, and on this end we're going to make another chisel point, but you got to be careful that it's straight perpendicular with this. So the chisel, perpendicular means if the stick's going this way, the chisel has to be straight that way. So we got to be careful of that. We got to make sure we shave the exact top and the exact bottom, so this chisel is straight perpendicular. So to do that, take it, and what I always do is put my finger in that notch, and I just hold it right there, and this is where I'm going to cut for right now. I just mark it, just look here, and I take my thumb straight up and down, and I just mark it, and that's where I'm going to shave at. Okay, so now I got this notch made straight perpendicular with that. I'm just going to check it. I need to take just a little bit right off this side. Alright, that's good. So now I got my notch here and my chisel point on this side. So let's start putting this in perspective again. So we got our stake, brace. Now we're going to work on our trigger. Alright, this chisel point right here is going to go into the notch that we make on this side. Actually, like this. We're going to have just a little bit of about an inch extra. Get you out of the sun so hopefully you can see this. About an inch extra of room on our trigger. So right here, I'm going to mark it, make a notch flat on the back side. So straight down right here. Alright, so now we have a notch on our trigger piece. Stake, notch to the brace, a chisel to the brace is going to go into this notch, just like this. So now we have basic fundamentals of the basic foundation, I should say, of the figure 4 trap. Now what we got to do is the very front edge of this is the stake. The very front edge of the stake needs to be flat, along with this left edge. So if this is front, this and my left have to be straight. You want to make a solid edge right here, a squared edge right here. As you can see right here is the stake. I made both sides just for instructional purposes only to show you this squared edge. A squared peg is what you want. So right here, this is the front of the stake. It's got a squared edge. I'm going to use this left side. You can use it on the right side, it doesn't matter. So, but this squared edge is what you need. So we're fitting all this together. This squared edge, where it lines up with the trigger, as you can see on this side, we're going to mark it with our fingers, our fingernail, and we're going to cut straight in to the twig, and it's going to be at a 90-degree angle from the notch that runs up and down. So straight into the side, we're just going to make a mark right now. This is the trigger. We have our notch that the brace is going into, and our notch that is directly to 90 degrees to the inside of the trap, so towards the stake. You got to make sure that this is straight up and down, and your notch is at that 90 degrees. That's key to this trigger placement.